Hi guys, Mom Bob here. I got a new microphone. Hopefully it's going to work a little bit better for us. Today we're doing Unit 8, Lesson 4, Arithmetic Sequences. Nevin is studying for a standardized test and he comes across a logic puzzle that is a triangle pattern. He creates an arithmetic sequence to try to solve the puzzle. They want us to create a graph to model the puzzle and answer the question. So even though it says that this is a triangle pattern, if you look at this, this is actually squares. So we have like one square and then 5 squares and then I guess 9. I'm not going to bother to count them. So what we need to do is to figure out a label for the x-axis, a label for the y-axis, how many squares there will be at the 4th image, and how many squares there will be at the 5th image. So in order to figure out labels for the graph for this problem, the first thing we need to do is make a table. So here's my little table with outlines with all of our information. So we know that one of our axes is going to be the image number 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, which is showing those little squares in the pattern that they were making. And the other axis is going to be number of squares. Then we're going to create a graph with the image number n on the x-axis and the number of squares on the y-axis. So here's our graph. It has each of the points plotted that we had on our table. It has our y-axis labeled number of squares, and our x-axis labeled image number. According to the graph, there will be 13 squares at the 4th image. You can see that right here. If you follow 4 up, and then follow it back across, it hits at number 13. And according to this graph, there will be 17 squares at the 5th image. So you take 5, you follow it up, then you follow it over, and it's sitting right there at 17. The term number and the term can be plotted on a graph to predict a future term. So what they did was they plotted the ones that we knew and then just continued the line, which enables us to find the others without having to do any complicated math. Let's work through another graph together. The Antelope Valley High School auditorium has 15 seats in the first row. After the first row, each row gains 2 additional seats sequentially. So it's like an upside-down triangle. The rows get bigger the higher you go. Create a graph to represent the scenario and use the graph to answer the following questions. What is the vertical axis in this scenario? What is the horizontal axis in this scenario? How many seats does the 5th row have? How many seats does the 7th row have? So the first thing you need to determine is the labels for the 2 axes. So we're going to create a table first with the information we have so that we can figure out the labels. We know from the information provided that we're going to have the row numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that the first row of seats has 15 seats in them, and that each row after that is going to have an extra 2 seats. So the first row is going to be 15, then add 2, 17, add 2, 19, add 2, 21, add 2, 23. So this is what our table is going to look like. Okay, simple to fill in the information. Then we need to create the graph. Okay, our row numbers are going to be the x. Anytime it's n, it's going to be the x-axis, so the row numbers will be along the bottom, and the number of seats are going to be the y-axis along the edge. And here's our graph. They put the points that we had on our table, okay, and you can see that it has a nice straight line. They didn't connect the line, but they don't need to. In the graph, the vertical axis is the number of seats. In the graph, the horizontal axis is the row. According to the graph, at the 5th row, there's going to be 23 seats. You can see that just by following. And if the graph were to be extended to show higher y values, it would show that at the 7th row, there would be 27 seats. We would have to make the graph bigger in order to show that, but this is very simple math. It's just +2 every time. Rise 2, run 1, rise 2, run 1, so we know that the next one is going to be 27. Adonis forgot to turn in his library book for 10 days after the due date. That sounds like me. If the book is 1 day late, the library charges 10 cents. If it is 2 days late, the late charge is 20 cents. The following table displays the information. Plot the points to answer the following questions. How much will Adonis have to pay to clear his charge? What is the x-axis in the situation? What is the y-axis in the situation? So the first thing I want you to do, you don't need to actually graph this, but I want to know what is he going to have to pay to clear his charge. He was 10 days late. The correct answer, oh my goodness, my chart is wrong. I apologize. Let me fix that. The correct charge is $1. He's going to have to pay $1 for being 10 days late. What is the x-axis for this graph? It would be days after due date, the n value. And what is the y-axis for this graph? The charge or the total amount that he's going to have to pay. And just in case you were dying to see that graph, that's what this graph looks like. The student council at Olympus High School is hosting the homecoming carnival. They have a dunk tank, rock climbing wall, and a miniature golfing. For participants, it will cost $5 for the first activity and then $2.50 for each additional activity. You have $25 to spend. Create a graph to represent the scenario and to answer the following questions. If you participate in 4 activities, how much money will you spend? If you participate in 7 activities, will you have enough for a $2.50 slice of cheesecake? What is the label for the horizontal axis? What is the label for the vertical axis? So first you need to create a table, and on the left side you're going to have the activity, which is n, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the right hand side you'll have money spent, and it will be like $5, and then it will go up by $2.50 every activity after that. And here's what your table will look like. You're going to take this information and use it to make a graph with n on the horizontal axis and money spent on the vertical axis. Remember, if you want to do it easily, you can use geogebra.org to create this graph. And here's what the graph will look like. This is, go away. Why do we have this Ask Canva? Okay. These are the points that we had on our table, and you can use this graph to find out other information. So according to the graph, on 4 activities, you will spend $12.50. Shh, I'm sorry, my dogs are so loud. On 7 activities, you're going to spend $20, which leaves $5 for the cheesecake because you had $25 total. So you have enough since the cheesecake costs $2.50. The horizontal axis is activity, or n, and the vertical axis is money spent. Mary wants to save enough money to buy a new mobile phone, which costs $720. I never spend more than like $100, $150 on mine because I break mine every year. She helps her dad with his landscaping business. She saved $32 from her paycheck the first week. Every subsequent week, she saves $8. Create a graph to represent the scenario and to answer, I love my typos, the following questions. How much will Mary have saved after 3 weeks? Will Mary have enough money to buy the phone after 1 month of saving? What does the horizontal axis represent? What does the vertical axis represent? So initially she saved $32. Every week after that she saves $8. Go ahead and create this. Make sure you can do this, then come back. As always, make a table first. $32 was her initial savings, then add 8 every week. Then go ahead and graph those points on a graph. I would use GeoGebra because it's easier. You can also do it by hand, and this is what you're going to end up with. Weeks will be on the x-axis. Savings is going to be on the y-axis. After 3 weeks, she's going to have $48. According to the graph, Mary will have $56 saved after 1 month. Okay, yeah, that's 4 weeks right there. She'll be $56, which is not enough for the $720 phone. So she's definitely going to have to work more than 1 month. Okay, this one is all you. Natasha and Margot plan to plant some roses in their flower bed. They plan on planting the roses in a trapezoid to accommodate the shape of the flower bed. No, I have no idea what a trapezoid is. The longer side of the bed will have 13 roses, and each row will decrease by 4 roses. You need to figure out how many roses will they need for the third row, what is the horizontal axis, what is the vertical axis. Pause it, figure out, come back. Okay, this is what your table should look like. This is a trapezoid. Oop. Hey, I don't have it lined up. Let's try that again. This is what your table should look like, and this is a trapezoid. You're welcome. I looked it up just for you. So on the first row, they have 13 roses, second row, 9 roses, third row, 5, fourth row, 1 row of roses. And then there's really no need for you to create a graph, but they did, so I will show you what the graph looks like. But the question is, how many roses are they going to have on the third row? And on the third row, they're going to have 5 roses. So the horizontal axis will be row n, and the vertical axis will be number of roses, and I'll go ahead and show you what the graph looks like. And there's your beautiful little graph. This one is all you too. Use the table to answer the questions. Lucinda discovers that the 15-gallon class fish tank in Dr. Crumo's biology class has developed a leak. Each week, the tank loses 2 gallons of water. Use the following table to create a graph and answer the questions. The weeks are N, volume is gallons, and the questions are: how many gallons will be in the fish tank at 4 weeks? How many weeks until the tank is empty? And what does the x-axis represent in this scenario? So pause the video, figure it out, come back. So the first question is, how many gallons are in the tank at 4 weeks? That's really easy. It's right here. 4 weeks, 7 gallons. How many weeks until the tank is empty? For that, it's easiest to use the graph. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what the graph's going to look like. Here's the graph. So how many weeks till it's empty? Come here to empty. And it looks like it's going to be 7 weeks. 7.5 weeks is what it says. And what is the x-axis? It's the number of weeks. All right, this is question 1 on the quick check. It says use the table to answer the question. This table shows the longest run distance over weeks of training. Mohammed is training for a marathon. He has started a training program to increase his mileage. When Mohammed started training, he could run 1 mile. His goal is to increase his mileage by 2 miles each week. The table shows his longest run in miles with respect to the training week. Which graph models the sequence accurately? And then it gives you some graphs to choose from. So what I'm going to do is take this information on the table and I'm going to plug it into GeoGebra and create a graph. Okay, this is going to be kind of hard to show you, so I'm going to move it around so that you can see. So our first point is at 0, 1, and then we have at 1, 3, and then 3, 7, and then 4, 9, and then it's going to continue on for us. Okay. So this is what your graph's going to look like. Make sure that your first point is at 0, 1. Your second point is at 1, 3. Your third point is at 2, 5. And then 3, 7. And then 4, 9. Question 2 on your practice shows 3 different squares made of smaller squares. You'll be able to see the image when you go there. But I created a table with the information. The first image has 8 squares, the second image has 12 squares, and the third image has 16 squares. It says Vienna is creating a video to explain the arithmetic sequence displayed in the logic puzzle. Which graph should she choose to model the sequence accurately? So again, you would just plug this information into GeoGebra or create a graph of your own and then select the appropriate graph. And you're going to end up with something that looks like this. Your first point should be at 1 and 8. Your second should be at 2 and 12. And your third point should be at 3 and 16. Now is also the time to do question 1 on your quick check. It wants to know which is the most appropriate label for the y-axis. Question 2 on the quick check wants you to create a graph given the information and then select the correct graph given the options. And at this point, I'm going to have to go back to writing on the whiteboard. So we're going to end this video here and go create part 2. See you guys.